Freddy's has many endings, whether they're canon or not to the lore. In this video, I'm ranking every ending in Five Nights at Freddy's. Usually do a worst to best type list, but because there's so many endings and a lot of them are similar, I'm popping out the tier list. Haven't done a FNAF tier list ranking in quite some time, so you prefer the tier list over the other ranking videos, please leave a like on the video and watch it all the way to the end to see what I put in next tier. I also want to mention one more thing before I get onto the video. I right now am sick, so when I record this video, if I sound a little raspy or sound a little weird, that's because I am sick. I still want to make a video for you guys because I haven't made a video in a little time, and I love you guys so much, so I want to do this the best I can. So if I sound a little weird or may say some words a little weird, it's because I have a little sore throat and cough. So that's just me being weird. So, and I can think it may take till I want to, but I'm still gonna sound a little sick. So just bear with me a little bit. Okay, obviously we're gonna start with FNAF 1. This ending is where you beat the first 5 nights. It's a simple ending. You just see a paycheck. You found out your name is Mike Schmidt. You make 120 bucks a week, and it's November 12th or December 11th for you Europeans out there. And the year is X'd out. It's really simple ending, so I'm gonna give it a D tier because it seemed hella low for the beginning, but because FNAF has a wide variety of endings that are better, it has to rank a little lower. This is the same check as Night 5's ending, but this time it's a little pinker, plus you get 50 cents extra on your check. Which, damn, it's not worth it at all. I want that $15 an hour. You'll see that we are Employee of the Month. Still a simple ending, so I gotta put it in D tier. Same simple ending, but instead of a check, we get a pink slip for Turbo with the animatronics and foul order. Yeah, fuck, I forgot to apply my Old Spice roll-on before I came in today. My fault. Like the other FNAF 1 endings, it's a D tier. FNAF 2 legit has the same ending as FNAF 1. We get a check that has $100.50 on it, so less than FNAF 1. We are named Jeremy Fitzgerald, and we found out the year is 1987 on the check. Same outline as FNAF 1 ending, so you guessed it, another D tier. First non-D tier is Night 6 ending. That's because we get an interesting news clipping along with our check that has a good overtime, $20.10. We see that FNAF 2's location is closing down and the animatronics are going to be kept possibly for reopening, but we know that isn't the case. The end is more insightful, so I guess I bump it up to a C, but definitely a low C. And we're back to the D tiers. It's the same ending as Night 7 for FNAF 1. You get a pink slip for tampering with the animatronics and odor. God damn it, I'm going to go to CVS and buy some more deodorant. I promise. Finally, we're on some good endings. Night 5 ending of FNAF 3 is actually one of the best endings in the franchise. We see William Afton, aka the purple guy, get spring-locked by the Spring Bonnie suit. Often this scene is super iconic because it made it way to the FNAF movie. This ending is super significant because it explains how what happened to William Afton and how he got stuck in the suit. Can't give it anything lower than S. I was thinking maybe A at first, but the ending is super prominent. These endings are together because they are very much the same. It's the good and bad endings. After you beat Night 5 and see the Springtrap ending, you then see this little ending. You either see bad ending or the end. It matters if you went through all the minigames or not. I love symbolism where the lights turn off because the animatronic souls have been laid to rest. It's a quality ending, but again, very simple, but not as simple as FNAF 1 or 2, so I'll give it a C tier. Last ending in FNAF 3 is a newspaper clip you see after you beat Nightmare Mode, saying that Fazbear Frights burn to the ground and the stuff salvageable will be sold at local auctions. Also a cool Easter egg, if you brighten the image, you can see Springtrap's face in the back of the image in the article. Good ending we will see repeated in this series, so like FNAF 2's news clipping ending, it's a C tier. FNAF 4's ending is another memorable one. Obviously it's the one with the Bite of 87 meme. Also does a significance in the storyline as well. We meet the crying child who is William Afton's son who is scared of his creations. We also see Michael Afton, who's the guy behind the Foxy mask. This ending is really great because it really wraps up the entire lore at that point in a bow with what we learned about the bite. Solid S tier. This ending is pretty solid. Forever Plush is talking to us while we see the crying child slowly pass away. The Forever Plush is supposed to represent the crying child's father, who is Afton. The famous line, "I will put you back together," is also in this ending. Better than most endings we've had so far, but not the greatest. Middle of the road, I'll give it a B tier. The box. Wow, this box was crazy popular when it first revealed once you beat Nightmare Mode. Anyone and everyone when this game was released wanted to know what was in the box. MadFi was going utter crazy over the lore, and many people were trying to come together to figure it out. Obviously the box was never opened, and I don't know if it was supposed to be opened. The other thing we know is that in the files of FNAF World, we can see the same box been opened. If the game FNAF World was in the box, everyone would be super pissed. When Sister Location came out, the box lore kind of died off, and no one really cared about what was happening with it. I'll just give it an A tier though for its huge hullabaloo though. I want to say one thing before I keep going on. I'm not ranking a FNAF World ending because it's kind of different from all the other FNAF games. Obviously, it's not scary at all. It's like Fury's Rage or all the other games. I'm not ranking them at all at any of their endings, so it won't be on this list. It just doesn't fit well at all with these endings. Anyways, this is a legit good ending as well. For the entire game, we are just getting manipulated by Baby, learning new things whether it's about her past, what Scooper is, and why she's down underground. We figure out her plan to escape and to use her body as a cover so they can look human. Baby is successful because she leads you to the scooper room and scoops out your insides. You then see her inside your body because our eyes are glowing purple instead. Definitely interesting, so another A tier. That is mediocre. We just watched the last episode of the show we've been watching for the first 3 nights of the game. We also receive our exotic butters as well. Afterwards, we see that Ender follows us home, which kind of confused me at first because I always wondered how to get out. Plus, the ending isn't canon, so it brings it down a little bit. I'll give it a C tier. For not canon. I guess you can call it an ending. When you beat a certain amount of challenges at FNAF's location, you can see this ending. We see Michael Afton slowly turn purple over time. His body looks like he's running away from Ender being inside. He then starts shaking and spits out Ender into the sewer. We hear Baby say you won't die over and over again, which makes Michael Afton get back up on his feet. Interesting ending to see what happens to Michael Afton, but not as cool as other endings, so T tier is where I'm gonna put this one. Another really awesome ending. It kind of felt slightly out of place with this game, but it's still really interesting. We see the remains of Fazbear Frights that was burned after the FNAF 3 fire, and then we see a split second of the end. Springtrap came into the scene. During this, we also hear a monologue most likely being spoken by Michael Afton, Springtrap's son. He's saying how he saw Baby, which is his sister's soul trapped in the suit. He then wanted to find out where his father was afterwards. This leads us to believe that Michael Afton was the person you play as in FNAF's location and possibly even FNAF 3. Although it definitely explains a lot with the lore, it's not really iconic like others, but it's still really good, so I'll give it an A tier. Now, FNAF Feature Review Simulator has a lot of endings, and majority of them are going to be the same tiers, but we're going to first pick the one that's different from the rest. Which I'm going to say now is the best FNAF ending. It's just the best ending in all FNAF. It's easily the best. It's so amazing. It's really iconic. I love Henry's monologue while we watch the FNAF locations and memories just burn because he wants to avenge his daughter Charlie. Afton killed Charlie, so he will also burn Afton, Baby, and Molten Freddy all in the fire. It's just utter perfect. It ends with a bow. Freddy Fazbear shuts down for good. We get the certificate of completion. We find out the names of the children who were killed by Afton because we see the tombstones of the children. Freddy Fazbear is over for good, which is what we thought then. Doesn't matter at all. It's easily an S tier. Now we're going to speedrun the rest of the endings of FNAF 6. Mediocrity ending. We just hear Hannah talk about doing absolutely nothing to go through the week. Nothing special. C tier. Bankruptcy ending. We don't even make it to the end of the week sometimes. Hannah just gives us a similar spiel on your performance. Another C tier. Another ending where Hannah criticizes our performance because we are super risky with running our pizzeria. And again, another C tier. A somewhat different ending. Before we get that Hannah Yap session, we get Henry to talk to us about the certain creations used for wrong by Afton. We see them such as the Scooper and Lefty, which by the way are both acronyms. Stuff we see is really interesting, and every time Henry talks, you know I'm intrigued. So I won't hit it with a C, but I'll go B on this one. Last ending of FNAF 6. This one just obsessed me. Imagine going through the entire game, and just because you didn't do it the way that you wanted to do it, you kind of just get fired by Henry. Super disappointing. I feel like they won't be a really terrible ending, so I'm going to give this one an F tier on this. Who knew one game could have the worst and best ending? FNAF Ultimate Custom Night endings are kind of weird, because they're not really endings, they're just cutscenes that happen during the game. This ending was when you beat a certain amount of points in the game. You get certain animated cutscenes. This was like Bear Vengeance cutscene. After 5 episodes of trying to revenge on Foxy, he manages to make him flee. And then has a monologue saying how he was victorious. I legit did not understand the animation or its lore relevance. I was thinking D tier, but because screw that, anime sucks, F tier. So Chica's animation is only better because it's more understandable. I understand that relationship between what Chica says and how it relates to Afton's murders. The ending of this animation is Chica sitting by a tree saying how one day she could truly find love while having the remains of every character in the backpack. This part isn't as cool as the other episodes, so I'm gonna just put this in C tier. The final Ultimate Custom Night ending is still pretty mid, but it still has some meaning to it. We see FNAF 1's Golden Freddy twitching while he starts to fade out into the black. Nothing too major, but it explains why that Golden Freddy is still angry and it still hasn't been laid to rest. There isn't much more to this ending except for it's a C tier. In this FNAF VR ending, whichever around this bizarre world I guess, until we finally get to the backstage. As we're in the backstage, we then see GlitchUp come out from behind the curtain and he tells us to follow him. We then learn that we have been trapped as Freddy Fazbear in the game while GlitchUp jumps around super happy. Unique ending because most endings end with us trying to survive possibly, but GlitchUp took control of us. Definitely reminds me of FNAF's location Scooper ending. I gave that an A tier, so I give this one also an A tier. This ending is a little more confusing in the game because it obtains once you do everything in the game. You're behind a locked door with a slot in it. Slot then opens and GlitchUp's face pops out. Why I'm confused is because I don't know where we are and I think it's supposed to represent GlitchUp having us trapped. Not as good as the other ending, but still solid, so I'll give it a B tier. A smaller ending than the game. We're trying to go for the other VR ending with GlitchUp in the door and fail. You then are in this perspective glitch trap. It's not really an ending, but it still shows that you have been controlled by glitch trap. It's the weakest FNAF VR ending, so I'll do it a C tier. This is the One Curse of Dreadbear ending. You see at the end of the game, we receive Vanny's mask at the end of the maze. This entire game gave us a lot of secrets to this next FNAF game. Like you see in the distance, the construction of the Pizzaplex. It's a great ending for a DLC because it shows what's going to happen in the next installment of FNAF. I'll give it a B tier. There are 6 endings to this game. First, let us start with the one I'd say is the best of the game, because we see Springtrap for the 29th time. We are way down in the Pizzaplex. We had to stop Springtrap from taking control of Freddy while we burn the Pizzaplex to the ground. I don't know if this ending is canon, but for a lore standpoint, I don't think so. Anyways, after we go through all the steps, Springtrap burns again and is trapped in the place because the blob grabs him at the end. We then see Gregory and Freddy run out of the place before they get killed. If this isn't the canon ending, I wish it was, because we have a cool fight because it's one of the few endings that have not made up in comic form. I don't know why SteelSeries did that with all the endings of the game, but the ones that aren't in the comic form are really going to rank higher, of course. So the highest rank I'll give this one is an A tier. Also at the end, we see Gregory and Freddy sitting on a hill looking out to the sun. Next best ending is Security Breach. It's Assembling Vanny ending. It's half animated and half in the comic style. Freddy gets disassembled, animated, so of course it's going to be graphic as fuck. Then Gregory gets control of the staff boss and tells them to disassemble Vanny. Maybe it's better that they didn't show that in the animated style, because people would have definitely been traumatized. It's a sadder ending because Freddy just dies, but at least we stop Vanny and get to leave. I'll give it a B tier just because of the comic drawings it uses. Now some of these endings are confusing, but they mostly aren't canon, so who cares. This ending is the rooftop ending, where while the Pizzaplex is burning, Freddy pushes Vanny off the edge. Gregory takes Vanny's mask off and sees Vanessa underneath. That part isn't confusing. What confused me is we see Vanessa then watching us from above the Pizzaplex while it's burning. Like how she's in Fanny, pause, and also on top of the building. All kinds of confusing. C tier. By the way, I know this ending isn't canon because the newspaper clipping said the Pizzaplex burns to the ground. If that happened, Ruin wouldn't exist, so obviously not canon. It's just a basic ending. Once we complete the game, we could just leave everything basically fixing nothing about the Pizzaplex more than just destroying shit. We leave so we don't get caught by Vanny, but when we are found outside the place hiding in a box with a newspaper trying to stay warm. We don't got parents or something? We keep that spare change, ma'am. The newspaper reads that more people are going missing. Then we see Vanny's shadow appear. So Gregory most likely gets kidnapped or something. Solid ending, but I'll give it a C because it's in that stupid comic style again. I think you get this ending once you beat Princess Quest 3 because once you are done with this game, Vanny isn't in control by Glitchtrap anymore and she just becomes Vanessa. Gregory just leaves the Pizzaplex nonchalantly with Vanessa, and not to forget the Freddy head he smuggled in his duffel bag. They end on the same hill we saw in the after ending looking at the sun. If I'm not mistaken, this may be the legit canon ending, but I don't want to make bold assumptions or anything. It's a good ending nonetheless, but still C tier because let's say it together class, the stupid comic style. The last ending is Security Breach, and it just kind of sucks. Freddy and Gregory sneak out the back, exit together in a car. Gregory is the one driving. He can't even drive, he's like 10 years old. They hit a staff by outside of the Pizzaplex, which doesn't make sense at all either. It's just really silly. Freddy tries to power it down, and Greg uses his car to power Freddy. Like he knows how to use jump cables at all, or how to jumpstart a car either. They go off to live their lives. It's stupid. D tier. Freddy ain't gonna make it that far with the power from the car. He needs a lot more than that. Now, Ruined ended are legit all the same. You get to the end of the game, you disable all the security nodes, you send access to the Shadow Realm, and then you save Gregory. We'll actually let the Mimic out and he wants to catch you. You run away through a tunnel to hopefully lose him. This is where the ends are slightly different. First one was to lose the Mimic in the elevator before he can get us. We hear Gregory over the intercom talk to us saying how he wasn't truthful to us. The elevator, I believe, then falls, which while we are inside, we don't know what happens further. We do hear Roxy say Cassie. It's a great chase and it's an ending that definitely could possibly lead to another DLC or even explain a few things in the next FNAF game coming up. I'll drop it a B tier for being unique. Now the other two endings are different paths you will take in the tunnels. One path, if you go left instead of right when Greggy says so over the walkie-talkie, we hit a dead end, but at the end we see a Fredbear poster holding out on ice cream. If we put our Fanny mask on, we see Gregory and Helpy who are on the hill from the Princess Quest ending and Security Breach eating ice cream. Also Vanessa is there in the back against the tree. This ending I don't think it's canon because I do believe you technically die if you just use the Vanny mask to calm yourself down. It's not as good as the main ending, so C tier. The last path you can take is a weird room down underground. Once you lock yourself in the room, you see the Mimic bang on the glass, but he's wearing a weird masculine suit for some reason. I think it's a line, but it's so damaged I can't honestly tell. We press a random button which gives the Mimic a scoop. It's an energetic ending, so I'll give it a B tier. I was thinking C at first because I don't think it to be canon, but still a cool scene watching the Mimic get killed. Up 1 2 is a lot of cool endings actually. For the game not being one of my favorites, the endings are pretty fire. Let's start with the main ending. Once you collect the 6 Fast Force mechs, you get teleported in front of a Security Breach charging station. Some staff buses surround us. Afterwards, we see a boot up screen just like the one we saw at the beginning of Security Breach, but then we see the eyes of a mask bot giving Cassie Vanny's mask. There's some meaning to this. If the person we play as in Help Wanted 2, that mask boss, well, he was turned into the mask bot of course, because we had the mask during the game, but we gave it to Cassie at the end. I like how we called back a scene from another game to show that this is all tied together. But I'm gonna give it just a B tier because there's an ending that's a little better. The secret ending of Help Wanted 2 is better than your normal ending. We play this Princess Quest minigame until Princess Quest actually comes into the room. We are now in the game. We have to fight the different enemies that look like Bonnie until we get to the final door. We trade Vanny's mask for a glitch Bonnie plush. We are then transported to a claw machine where we see Vanny watching us and then Moon Man as the claw. We then hand him the plush. Glitch Trap spawns into Vanny's hands. She crushes him, signifying she isn't under his control any longer. Out of all of Vanny getting out of the control of Glitch Trap, this one might be the best, so I'll give it an A tier. I was looking over multiple videos about Help Wanted 2 ending to see if this one was real or not, or was just a fan-made ending. I actually never played Help Wanted 2, so I wasn't totally sure myself. This ending is all about the new game, Secrets of the Mimic, that's coming out later this year. What happens if you see the music box from the first game trailer, which is winding down? When it opens, we get transported to a table with a puzzle. When we complete the puzzle, the house that's on the puzzle appears in front of us. We also see a van pull up where if you type the certain code in the back of the van, Nexus will show up for a split second. The van speeds away, and that's the ending. It's cool because it's exactly about the new game. The van that pulled up is the van you see in the beginning of the new trailer, and the house is the same house you're going into. That actually explains a lot about the new game, but I'm going to give it a B because I never knew the ending actually even existed. This is a weird ending from Into the Pit. It kind of reminds me of the bankruptcy ending from FNAF 6 because that's what just happens in the middle of the game. If we exit the pizzeria where there's a kid stuck in the endoskeleton, we get a cutscene of us leaving. It's crazy how that's an ending. I feel like I can go in the F tier because why was I even in the game? This ending is when Oswald gets kidnapped by Spring Bonnie. This is the regular ending of the game. You save your father, but at what cost? You also get trapped inside of a ball pit and most likely get killed by Spring Bonnie. It's still a cool ending because after all you did, you just die. I'll give it a B tier for that. This ending is kind of when at the end of the game, Spring Bonnie attacks you and don't shake him off in time. You are then teleported on the stage. You walk towards the exit where you see Spring Bonnie. Your eyes then glow because you're under his control now. I wouldn't call this an ending per se, C tier because it's not too major, but it still ends similar to the last ending. Now we are on the final ending. If you complete the entire game, and I mean by collecting everything needed, you receive this ending where you knock out Spring Bonnie and go back to the real world. Spring Bonnie may chase you, but he then gets stuck in the rope of the ball pit. You and your dad can now leave going out unscathed. The ending also can get different because there are two sub-endings. If you don't do the minigames in the game, you won't see Oswald and his family eating pizza against like Jeff's Pizza at the end. I didn't have to want to rank it differently because of the slice of differences. It's a solid ending because they might manage to both make it out alive. I'll give it another B tier. It's not that prominent or memorable to be ranked higher. These are the endings of Five Nights at Freddy's. If I missed one, please tell me in the comments below. I don't think I did. There's a lot of endings, a lot of different endings that I may have missed one small one, but I think these are more the basic main endings of the game. So if you guys do read my rankings and you enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it a lot. I just love you guys so much for all the support. Thank you for 3,000 subscribers. Peace out, Militrates. Don't you bleach. And as always, stay lit.